Indefinite detention is a developing problem for many immigrants in the UK.
It's inhumane just having people locked up indefinitely.
A working group, Refugee Tale, is getting involved to help end this practice.
It's got to stop because it destroys people being in detention.
I went to discover how being held indefinitely can affect people's lives.
I asked an officer to give me poison.
Last year, nearly 25,000 people were detained across the United Kingdom. According to Detention Action, the UK is the only country in Europe with no maximum time limit for detainees, and they are detained indefinitely. The detention system costs 100 million a year. Since 2012, the government paid 21 million compensation for unlawful detentions. Mamoon Ali from Pakistan had been detained due to overstaying here in the UK.
Indefinite detention is an inhuman practice. Detainees do not know when they will get released. This thing made me so sick and I felt hopeless. I started to think, give up my life. For this, I asked an officer to give me poison.
It's inhumane just having people locked up indefinitely in terms of detention centres. It really needs to be urgently looked at. We need to make sure that people that are in detention centres have gone and got the access that they need to the interpreters, that where they are entitled to legal advice, that they get the legal advice, and that we do that in a speedy fashion.
A Home Office spokesperson said to The Independent, "We don't detain people indefinitely, and the law doesn't allow it." He then said that detention is an important part of the immigration system, but it must be fair, dignified, and protect the most vulnerable. A working group known as Refugee Tale arranges work for refugees. This is a project of Gatwick Detainee Welfare Group.
One of my greatest concerns is how long people are held. They're held indefinitely, and after 20 years, I wonder whether in the next 20 years, the same number of people are going to be held for another 20 years. And my own feeling is that it's got to stop because it destroys people being in detention.
Ali could not extend his visa and became illegal.
I came in 2010 as a student, but after a few months, I was so upset when I heard my college got delisted. I was so worried because I need to extend my visa as soon as possible.
Ali was caught on the road by the police due to his immigration status.
One day I was going on a road. Two police officers stopped me and started checking my ID. I told them I am not a criminal. They said, "We found you are living overstaying. You need to come with us." They took me in police station.
Vicky Foxcroft, a Labour Party MP, blamed the Conservative government for indefinite detention.
Well, unfortunately, we've gone and got a Conservative government at the moment, but that's the reason why it's really important that all those organisations that are out there go and put pressure on the government, but also that people are able to gain access and see exactly what is happening with those detention centres.
After getting released from the detention centre, some of the detainees joined the Refugee Tale.
I think that has a twofold purpose. One, it gets people to know what's happening, but also it's good for people who come and walk with us, who have been in detention previously. They learn about the English countryside, they meet English people in circumstances they wouldn't normally. They meet English people they probably never would have met otherwise.
After investigation, Ali was put in lockup where he was feeling unwell.
I started screaming as I was not feeling good in small and dirty room. An officer became very rude with me, but later on he took me out and took my fingerprints and picture. I was thinking they are going to give my pictures in newspaper.
As an MP, trying to visit and access a detention centre to see what the state of them are isn't something that is easy to be able to do. and the government needs to urgently look at this and think about the human implications that this is having on human beings.
Actually, they was giving us mentally torture to ask him same question in different ways. I was feeling not good there because they count us as animal. I thought negative and I was broken inside.
Ali was depressed and felt helpless in detention center. He met different detainees who were in the same situation.
Some of them were living there last 3 months. Some of them were living there last 6 months. One guy, he told me he was living there since last 2 years.
They have no idea what their destiny is, where they're going, how long they've been there. It's just awful, and I think I must do everything in my power to try and change it and get something different.
Due to indefinite detention, people become hopeless, helpless, and they do self-harm and commit suicide.
The number of incidents like self-harm and suicide has been increased in the last few years. He feels isolated, and after coming out of the situation, he keeps himself busy by playing game with a friend.
Those days was very painful for me because I was not allowed for work. I did not have support from back home. I suffered with hunger, stress and illness, and that time I spent in the detention center was horrible.
The question still remains, is Mamoon Ali the only person to go through this? And if not, is the government trying to find out a solution to what experts are calling a humanitarian crisis?